This is the Slots and Sockets podcast, episode number 46. I am one of your hosts, IRD Moose, and my partner in crime,
Turbo Penguin.
Happy
Bat Penguin.
Wednesday. Wait, what day is it? I forgot what day it is. Pre-Friday. Happy Pre-Friday, Turbo. That's what I get for having a couple
half
days.
red today.
There we go. So, we have some interesting things to talk about with regard to the 50 series.
Okay, I'm just going to say it. The 50 series just sucks in every which way, shape, and form. Like,
Okay.
Like, it
That's
just,
a departure from our previous conclusions, but okay.
Look, I can get how some people would say that there's some benefit in the 5090, but the 80 sucks.
Yeah.
It is not an uplift really over the 4080 Super.
True.
It's just not. And the 5070 Ti sucks because it's just a rebranded, it's like a mixture of if you took a 4070 Ti and a 4080 and you had this weird thing, so you put a 5 in the front. Right. I swear, this is not the 50 series. It's like a 45 series. It should be the 4590. It should be the 4580. Like, it is absolute horse crap.
Yep.
Like, there's and even then, when you start looking at like the some of the videos of DLSS, frame gen, and all this stuff, like, now granted, I get you may not be able to see the difference, but I don't really see the use case of DLSS for multi-frame gen.
Yeah.
When it is really pampered by the input frames. And so all you're doing, I feel like, with frame gen is making your FPS counter just look really high without actually feeling any faster.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is if the card, if you had, say, a 4080 and you went to a 5070 Ti, the odds are you're not going to see a significant improvement in performance, in actual performance.
No, you don't your see base any frame rate in that.
Your base frame rate is going to be maybe marginally better, maybe 10, 15%, but for the extra $900 that AIBs want to charge, which that's kind of an interesting rabbit hole to dive into there, because we've got Asus, who Nvidia shipped their, I think it was the Prime card.
Mm-hmm.
And Nvidia's like, yeah, this is going out at MSRP. It's $799 or $749. And Jay's like, we see it at $899 on Micro Center. What gives? And then Micro Center changes the price.
or even worse.
Yeah.
You notice on the 5080 and the 5090, there was launch edition. And the launch edition pricing was MSRP. And then after that, when stock had sold out, it was free for all. And it was $200-$300 more expensive.
Shades of the Cybertruck, which has yet to finish rendering. Cybertruck pulled the same thing. I mean, the thing is to kind of go back to what you said earlier, that the 50 series is just garbage. If the 50 series was at price parity with the 40 series, like, all the prices were identical across the board. 5070 matched the 4070, 5070 Ti matched the 4070 Ti, 5080 matched the 4080, 5090 matched the 4090. Do you think there would be value there?
The 90 series.
Not anywhere else?
Oh, no.
Because one of the things that I've seen with the DLSS is an improvement. AI performance, if you use that, and which games are going to start using, I'm sure. That does seem to be an improvement. Now, base gameplay, I don't see a whole lot of improvement. But if they had kept the prices the same, I don't think this conversation would be going this route. I don't think it's a crap card. I think it's just they're like, well, we'll call it a new generation, even though the performance is largely the same. I
I mean,
mean, you know,
look, I'll be honest. I sort of view this series like the 5900 Ultra that
mm,
was absolutely just garbage. And
yeah,
even though today is probably the worst launch that Nvidia has ever had, it was like
yeah.
a hair dryer. And
Well, the 480
um,
wasn't far off. I mean, that card actually performed, but it was a hair dryer too.
well, that thing was. I mean, they had the heat pipes coming out of it to try to cool that thing off.
Mm-hmm.
I had four-way SLI in that thing, and that thing would get stupid hot. And I was using all 1600 watts of my power supply.
It was a very effective taco warmer at that LAN
It
party,
was
man.
it was a very good taco war. But this is it. Like
Yeah,
I just look at this and you say, where's the generational uplift? And
right.
I feel like this is why I say it's not. Because okay, let's be honest. Okay, everything's more expensive. Inflation is higher.
Yep,
Okay, inflation has gotten to the point where $1,000 today is not worth what $1,000 was a year or 2 years, 3 years ago.
sure.
Okay, so had I spent $1,000 on a 4080 Super, I would have had use of a 4080 Super
Mm-hmm.
for well, at this point, what, a year ish, year and a half,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the 5080 is at
In some
best
cases, it's a
marginally
downgrade.
quicker.
Yeah, in some cases, it's actually a downgrade.
So I say this: is it
Okay.
an upgrade? No. If I had a 4070 Ti Super, which is a stupid name, by the way, but if I had when that came out, the
True.
Super Series came out, and you bought a 4070 Ti Super, okay,
Yeah,
I would have spent how much?
799, I think.
$799.
Yeah,
It's not that much slower than a 5070 Ti.
true.
I would have had use of that, and I would have saved apparently $200, even though Nvidia wants to tell us all that it's a $750 card. Bull
Right,
crap.
right.
It's not. And so just like we have fake frames and we want to make up performance when we can't we can't do it. So we're going to use our AI cores to manipulate our number at the top of the screen and our fraps and whatever frame counter, so everyone can say
Sure,
they running 1,000
sure.
FPS, right?
It looks
We
smoother,
have
but it
fake
doesn't play
frames
smoother.
and we have fake pricing.
Yeah. No, I
It is
totally agree.
100% fake pricing. I don't care what they say.
Well, and they're fake
It's
cards because they don't exist.
they don't exist. The frames don't exist because they're fake. And I just look at this and I say, unfortunately, it's just every which way you look at it, it's bullcrap.
Yeah.
Now, the sad thing about this is that you sit there and think, okay, AMD is going to save us from the monopolistic, evil green empire.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come to a realization that AMD is going to do the dumbest thing ever. And they're going to do the Radeon thing.
Yep.
I mark my words. They're going to come and be like, okay, so ours is at a 5070 Super, so we're going to knock off $30. All right, here's your 9070 XT
Yep.
or 9070.
And
$30 cheaper than a 5070.
and you're gonna get a few people who are gonna be like, "Yay, I get a new card."
No, it's going to be
But
garbage.
the vast majority of people, I think, are going to just be like, "All right, I can wait another year."
The problem is
And
that AMD needs to realize that they need to make the value proposition so good that the lemmings aren't stupid enough
yeah,
to go keep buying these Nvidia cards.
right. Well, and
Like,
that's the thing is like the lemmings that would go buy the Nvidia card over the AMD when the AMD's $50 cheaper are the same people that say, well, AMD just doesn't have the value because their
You
drivers
know
are
what?
crap. Their
Okay,
drivers are
so
not crap. Like
the drivers
they
aren't
work fine
crap.
for me.
You know what though? For $50, the developer support that you get with AMD,
Hmm.
worth it. This is why I don't
Yeah.
think people at AMD get it. It's not that, if they're priced the same, okay, performance to performance. Let's just say, and I don't know where the pricing is, but let's just say a 5080 and a 9070 XT are the same performance,
Hmm.
okay? And let's just say that price point, they're both the same, 900 bucks,
Hmm.
whatever. Okay, and you had 100 cards of each and you had 200 gamers. The first 100 are going to be sold are going to be all Nvidia.
Yep.
What you got to realize is that there is disparity of how people view your cards. And unfortunately, Radeon, you haven't done enough to to have gamers view your your cards as a premium. And so because of that, you've got to give them value to say, hey, I can get 4080 performance for $250 less.
Yep.
It can't be $50. Okay. That might work at at the 60 series when the card is 350 bucks.
Hmm.
Okay. That makes a bigger difference at the lower pieces. But in the mid zone, like in the 80 and 70 series, you got to have a bigger price gap. And I do not have numbers. I do not know where it is. I don't think people at AMD know what these numbers are at.
Yeah.
But I kid you not, I just have the sinking suspicion that AMD is going to do what they do and they're going to royally screw this up. They screwed up the launch of the 7000 series. The 6000 series was a little bit better. It's just that series wasn't amazing
Yep.
comparative. Um, um, the 7000 series, I think, is good cards. I just think they were way too, like they should have knocked $200 at the launch price,
Hmm.
and it would have fared much better. They would have sold a ton more. Um, I just I have the sinking suspicion that we're gonna be doing the same thing with AMD and be like, great, so there's no good reason because right now I would make it very clear: do not buy a graphics card.
No.
I mean,
No, not at
uh,
all. Yeah.
don't
I
buy
mean,
a
unless,
graphics card.
yeah, and if you're pushed into a corner, go look at the used market. Seriously,
I absolutely would agree
go
with
look
that.
at
I
like,
mean,
I'm I'm the first guy to tell you buy a new card because you get a warranty, you get support, you get all this. Not this time. No. Like look seriously look at the used market. I am at this point holding on to my my 6900 XT
but
with,
see,
until I absolutely can't.
I mean, here's
And
my
you
problem
know,
that I have with a lot of this is that because of this, the used market has gotten crazy dumb.
oh yeah.
Like, um, and like here's a 6900 XT on the used market in my local, Facebook marketplace.
Hmm.
They're asking 500. Here's a 7900 XT for 700. Like these are what they're asking. Here's 750.
Those are flagship previous generation and two generation back
2 generation
cards.
old. I know, and that's the
And
problem.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Like if I wanted to
Yeah.
sell my
Oh my
card,
gosh.
I'm in a good position to do it,
I mean,
but
here,
you know,
this is crazy. A 6700 XT, they want 450 bucks.
that's
That just
ridiculous.
tells you. I mean, all I can say is that you need to understand the value of a card to understand where a good price is. Now, here's
Yeah.
a 6700 XT. Even at $300, that's high. That is absolutely high. But if I've got extra cards laying around, absolutely, I'm selling them when the price is high.
Heck yeah.
I just think right now you just shouldn't be buying a card. I mean, it's just I don't know. Like none of these are good.
What's a 7900 XTX going for?
Let's take a look. 7900 XTX. Um, 1150
Oh,
asking.
oh. I could have bought one new a few months ago for $9.99.
You know what? You could have bought, and I was saying that. I mean, here's one that's at 950 used. Um, Here's the other thing is that there was a time, a brief moment in time when the XTX was 800
Mm-hmm.
new,
Yep.
and you could have, and that would have been a great deal to purchase. I just think we're kind of in another lull that we now have cards, and people think that they need. Well, people have the desire to have cards, and people are just buying them up like no tomorrow. Now, I can't believe that all of these cards are being used for mining or crypto or AI, but I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, the more we look at this, like, I mean, here's a 6900 XT, okay, and this is a Sapphire overclocked edition, and the dude wants $650.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, I'd sell my 6950 for $650. I don't think these are obviously selling. These haven't sold, but actually, here's a good question. How much do we think completed sold cards have sold on eBay? Let's say 69,
I'd
let's say
say
7900 XTX.
I'd say we probably have a fair bit selling in the $800 to $900 range.
Okay, so this is a sold XTX. Okay, sold today 1,900, I mean 1,099. Here is a Sapphire Pulse for 1,200. Here's one for 975. That's this Merc Speedster. 1150, 985. Here's one that buy it now for 700. So that sold pretty quickly. 950, 1200, 1300. Okay, so let's switch it up and say 6950 XT. Okay, where do you
Mm.
think 6950 is selling for? These are cards that sold.
I'd say 500.
Okay. First one on the list, ASRock Phantom Gaming
Mm-hmm.
XT 6950 XTX, 699.
Oh, good grief.
597, 497, 699, 699, 550. Easily,
550 is semi reasonable, I think.
I
For what
mean,
the card can do with current games, I think that's pretty reasonable. But still, that those prices are ridiculous. You know,
4080 Super. How much do you think a 4080 Super sold, completed sold uh, values? What do you think?
4080 Super sold 1200.
Okay, first one on this list is 905.
Okay, I was
Now
high.
this
For
is
once, I was high.
free delivery from China. So that begs the
Oh,
question of what that is.
that
Next
might be
one,
sussy.
1600, 1670,
Oh,
1650, broken as is 479.
yeah, that one's missing the GPU, you know that much. Or the core,
Uh
rather.
Here is 1625, 15. Holy crap. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Canadian, this 4080 Super is sold for 1265 plus $75 shipping.
Mm,
Holy crap.
mm,
Man,
yikes. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And that's the
I
thing is like the GPU market is insane right now. And I think Jay's 2 cents had a really good point when he said it's become a rich person's game. Cuz I mean, I could budget to potentially afford one of these cards, but I'm looking at wanting to do a new system build, and going to a 9800 X3D or a 9950 X3D, and none of these GPUs are particularly appealing. Yeah, some of the features are. The extra performance over my 6900 XT is appealing, but for the price, none of it makes any sense to me at all. And so, you know, kind of like we said, if AMD doesn't come out swinging for the fences, they aren't going to capture market share because Nvidia doesn't care about market share. I am firm in the belief that when it comes to consumer cards, if AMD came in and took 30% market share by selling the 9070 XT at $699, and that was the partner board price, like the Power Color Red Devil version might be $750, for example, because they do a different power setup. They do, their whatever their power color magic is. And everything, they all fell in that realm. They would sell like crazy. And,
Begs the question, like,
you know,
I wonder if Radeon wants to sell like crazy.
maybe they don't. Maybe neither of them do, and they're just doing this to appease shareholders.
I don't know. It does beg the question, like where that is, because AMD could, and they could get market share. The question is what's their focus going to be? I mean, honestly speaking, I sort of think the XT needs to be in the $600 price range. And that's probably generous for them to make money. I just don't see them actually doing that. I think what they're probably going to do is try to price this at like 750.
Yeah.
Ideally, it needs to be at like five, like low fives, 529. Like, I don't know. I mean, 550 maybe, $200 cheaper than the XT model needs to be at that. 550, 599 absolute max, because it's $150 difference. And if you could get enough of a save of that, I think it's good. I don't know. I just, at this point, I've kind of come to the point with like graphics cards that I'm just keep on finding myself overly disappointed. We don't get the performance. Like if the 5080 was like just spanking a 4090, I think that there would be some real be like, whoa, that's actually not bad.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. Like the 5080's barely beating a 4080 Super. And it's like, and that's why I say I think it's more lackluster than anything else, because when we all look at it, it's like, it's just meh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, meh is the best way to put it. And I think to kind of add to that meh, we've got some interesting situations cropping up again with retailers like Newegg and others, like we had with the 30 series, where they're bundling crap that you have to buy to let you buy a graphics card because of these shortages. And, I think Gamers Nexus video, which I'll link in the description below, covers it very effectively. You're basically getting a bucket of crap and a GPU, and you're paying 2-3 times as much as you normally would for just the GPU on its own. You're basically buying a license to buy the card. And you can't return the stuff. If some of that hardware that they send you breaks, you have to return all of it, or you get nothing, or you deal with the manufacturer and their warranty. And with Asus, we know how their warranty support goes. I mean, their hardware is not terrible for the most part, but their support, oof, yikes.
It begs the question, like, in all honesty, and I don't think we'll ever hear anything like I don't think this will ever come to light of day if this was true. We have talked about this before. I wonder if EVGA and the people who ran EVGA saw these problems and were like, thanks, but no thanks.
I think that's possible. I think they saw what was coming, you know, with the way the power was laid out. And again, this is all speculation on my part, because EVGA always did their own custom power stuff because they worked with Kingpin. And it was very telling that Kingpin didn't come out with a 4090. It was also very telling that Kingpin said, yeah, no 5000 series. So, you know, and then when he was asked about AMD cards, he's like, maybe, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff going on that in that realm because I feel like EVGA was probably pushed into a corner that they didn't want to be in, that they knew was going to be a support headache, and they weren't going to be able to offer their customers the level of support that they want. And it they just pulled out. And so now we don't really have a manufacturer in the GPU market that, in my opinion, provides good support. Now, that said, I can't give you my personal experience with Power Color because my card hasn't died. I haven't had to call support. In fact, it's at this point it's well outside of the 3-year warranty. And I haven't even felt the need to repaste the GPU. Like they did a good job with it. And so, you know, there's something to be said for that. And I seriously would look at Power Color for my next AMD card, just because of that experience. So, yeah, I mean, we've got retailers shoveling off crap hardware that nobody wants, just like we had with Newegg and Gigabyte before with the 30 series, and Best Buy making you buy that, what was it, $200, $300 a year subscription to their tech program or whatever it was. And, you know, it just seems like they're trying to use this excuse of shortages as a way to just rip you off and give you a bunch of crap that's going to end up going to electronics recycling anyway.
I don't know. I am just overall, all I can say is um I'm not overly um overly happy across the board.
Yeah.
You know, and I think gamers, all I can say is that, you know, you should absolutely be really hacked off. Um, I mean, I just, you know, the easy solution here is, and I mean this, and we've heard this from other people, don't buy them.
Mm-hmm.
Just stop buying those cards.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm looking at a system integrator, and I don't believe this is a system integrator's fault. Okay, but a back ordered 5090. The base system here includes a 4060. Okay. And the ship date is, I mean, the price on the system is 1875. I don't think it's horrible, but
Mm.
it's a little pricey.
That's
But if
pricey
this is
for
a
a
boutique,
4060.
this is a boutique builder. To jump up and to say, no, I do not want the 4060, keep that and then replace it with a 5090. Okay, so don't give me a 4060. I should get a credit back for that. How much do you think the upcharge is for a 5090 from a system
3500.
integrator? 2,987.
Okay, so I was 500
Agreed.
high. So
5080 is,
they're giving you the credit on the 4060 at $500 because look at what the add in the partner cards are going for the 5090. I mean, you look at Asus, you look at MSI, you look at pretty much anybody, and their cards are shaking out in the $3,500 range right now.
now I will say, you can get this system with a 5070 Ti for only $779. But keep in mind, you're trading in a 4060, paying an extra $780 for the 5070 Ti.
Right.
And I think that's where people need to start looking and understanding. And look, the only way that this stops and becomes an issue, and where we don't get a $3,500 or $4,000 video card, is if people stop buying these. Yep. So the notion is stop buying them.
Yeah. When stock shows up, let it collect dust until the price is reasonable.
I mean, that's 40, what it is. I mean,
4080, I would say don't buy it until it's $799. Or 5080 rather. 5080.
I don't know. I'm very interested. Unfortunately, I think that there's so much pent up demand for whatever reason. I just don't think that these are going to come on sale. I think the loaded question will be, AMD has a chance to kind of reset the market. I just don't know if they will.
Yeah, I don't expect them to. I hope they do. Unlike Jay's 2 cents, who said he really doesn't have any hope. I still hope that they do, but I don't expect them to. I expect them to play the same game they played this entire time. So, on that rather disappointing bombshell.
No, it's not a bombshell. It's like an M80. You're expecting a bomb, it's just like an M80. You're right.
Yeah, it's more of a squib load. Yeah, on that pipsqueak of a bombshell. I think we will call it an evening for our show for this evening, and thank you all for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, do all the algorithmic goodness in the doobly-doo below. And, if you guys have any topics you'd like us to cover in future shows or have anything to say about this one, let us know. We appreciate hearing from you. And until next time, have fun storming the castle.
Hasta luego.
Good night, everybody.